All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwath who may be listening. This is your brother Batakallah from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And Lord willing, this be an edifying lesson. All right. Now, Salakia. The topic of this lesson is going to be that, having demons bother you and fuck with you is a part of this truth. And that's the topic, all right? But we're gonna start off with Job 1 and we're gonna get some more precepts, and Lord willing, this be edifying, all right? But this is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, Salakia. This is Job 1 and 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Yahweh and eschewed evil. All right, now we're going to jump down to verse 8. All right, so we've established that Job was a righteous man. All right, a man who feared the Lord, a man who was, living the way that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, expects us to live as Israelites, okay? So that's been established already. Now we're going to jump down to verse 8. This is Job 1 and 8. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil. All right, so now Yahweh the Father is establishing that Job is a righteous man. All right, and that Job is on point. And you got to remember, when the scriptures say that, our righteousness is as filthy rags to the Lord. So for the Lord to brag to Satan about how righteous Job, or for the Lord to brag to Satan that Job was righteous and a man that feared him, is a big deal, because our righteousness don't mean nothing to the Lord, all right? But he still bragged on Job anyway. And it says, Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, Doth Job fear Yahweh for naught? Hath not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. All right, so Job was prosperous, but Satan is telling the Lord that, of course, Job fears you and does what he's supposed to do. You always blessing him, you always making things go right for him, So of course he would love you. Of course he would do the things that you asked him to do. All right, we're gonna keep reading. This is verse 11. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. All right, so now Satan is challenging Yahweh the Father and saying, let me go and let me mess with Job and don't protect him, and he'll curse you if you let me do it. This is what Satan is telling the Lord. All right, it's like a wager. Okay, verse 12. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh. All right, and if you continue to read, it'll tell you about how Satan starts to plague Job and fuck with Job. All right, but the point that I wanted to make there is that, these people in the world, they think that if you are so-called being righteous, that everything is going to go your way. You're not going to have no problems. That the Lord is going to always give you prosperity. These people believe that gain is godliness, and that somebody that is always prospering and things are always going on in their favor, that the Lord is got to be dealing with them. Okay, and don't get me wrong. The Lord blesses his men, blesses his servants, blesses those that fear him. Of course he does. But the Lord is about balance. And if you read more into the book of Job, it says that matter of fact, I'm gonna just get it. get this blue letter, man. Here we go. This is Job chapter 2 and verse 10. Or verse 9. Salaki, this is Job 2 and 9. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse Yahweh and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. All right, so just because you are in doing things according to the way the Lord wants you to do them, and on point, doesn't mean that you're not going to make ups and downs in life. All right, the Lord does all things, good and bad, and the Lord is about balance. Too much of one thing is not good. So yes, will the Lord bless you and give you prosperous situations? Of course He will, but it's also going to come with trials and tribulations and things that are made to test us and ultimately for us to grow. All right, but and we all have to go through this. Even Yahweh Shai was plagued by Satan, man. Was plagued by and had to deal with demons. I won't say plagued. He had to deal with them. Okay. This is Matthew chapter 16 and verse 22. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, that this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of Yahweh, but those that be of man. All right. So Satan jumped on Peter and was trying to talk the Lord out of dealing with a certain situation, man, because the people that he was dealing with was trying to harm him. All right. And Peter trying to get him to run away and not to deal with it, basically. And Yahweh Shai told him, like, I'm going to go over here and deal with what I got to deal with, man. And you trying to talk me out of it is Satan trying to stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do. All right? Because Yahweh Shai knew that he had to deal with getting put to death. He had to deal with getting tormented. He had to deal with niggas hating him, man. All right? That's a part of the walk. But matter of fact, we're gonna read verse 21 just to prove that. This Matthew 16 and 21. Let me see if I want to go up. This Matthew 16 and 21. From that time forth began Yahweh Shai to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. So Yahweh Shai knew that he had to get put to death for us to be where we are today with an opportunity to receive salvation. Okay? But Peter tried to talk him out of putting himself or going to submit himself to get put to death, because he didn't want the Lord to get put to death. All right, he loved the Lord, but Satan, that's how Satan will try to try you and try to sway you from doing what you're supposed to do. Yahweh Shai knew he had to do that. All right, and even though Peter loved the Lord, and that's a genuine sentiment to have, not wanting the Lord to suffer and go through death, Yahweh Shai knew he had to, man. So he dealing with the doubt was not something that he had time to do, man. So he had to rebuke Satan, and he had to keep going, because that's what Satan is here to do, man. Put doubt in our mind and make us believe that the Lord is not dealing with us, or that we don't have to do what the Lord says to do, or whatever the situation is, man. But to get us to be contrary to what the Lord wants. That's what Satan's job is, man. And we all have to deal with that. This is not because you think you're doing right, or because you think you're so righteous, which none of us are, but you feel like, oh, well, I'm not in the world no more. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why is the Lord doing this to me? Because it's a part of the deal, all right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7, because the Lord don't just, okay, well, I'm dealing with you, so I feel like I'm just going to deal with you because you say you want to deal. The Lord don't operate like that, man. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. All right, so are the elect predestined? Yes. But that don't mean that the Lord is not going to prove his elect. All right, it's a part of the process. Okay? And part of us being proved is having to go through these battles with these demons, with Satan, etc. And to hold our integrity going through these battles to prove that we willing to stand firm for what the Lord wants, man. Because that's what he's looking for. Somebody that's going to be willing to, even if he has to give his life up to do his will, he's going to do that, like Yahweh Shai did. All right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. So it's guaranteed that we're going to deal with temptation. We're going to deal with Satan. We're going to deal with demons fucking with us, man. That's a part of this walk. That's a part of us putting off that old man and getting better. Okay? Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. All right? And a lot of these things that we go through, everything that we go through is to bring us closer to the Lord. All right? Especially when you talk about these things that are uncomfortable, or these situations that are very, not in our favor. All right, the Lord puts us through things like that so that we can learn how to lean on him and have faith in him, man. Because guess what? Once Jacob's trouble starts, man, nothing is going to go according to plan. The only thing that's going to go according to plan is the fact that the Lord is going to protect his elect. The Lord is coming, Yahweh Shai is coming back to destroy this kingdom and establish the kingdom of heaven. That's what's going to happen, guaranteed. But all throughout that process, the men of the Lord are going to be going through situations that are uncertain, okay? And the only thing that's going to keep us moving forward is our faith in the Lord and the certainty of the things that I mentioned happening. All right. But just because we're certain and we have the faith don't mean that our flesh is not going to, the Lord is not going to be putting us through things that's going to inconvenience our flesh. Okay. But it's not for us to lose faith. It's for us to grow stronger in faith. That's why we are doing what we're doing right now before Jacob's trouble starts, to have our faith built up to a certain level, Lord willing, so that when we have to deal with all of these turnarounds, ups and downs and turnarounds that come a part of Jacob's trouble, we'll be good. We'll already know the Lord got us. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Yeah, we dealing with some uncomfortable shit right now, but we're going to keep moving forward. The Lord got us. That's how we got to act, and that's how we got to feel. And it's not something that you can just wake up one day and decide that you're going to be like that. The only way to be like that is to go through these battles with these demons now. Go through these trials and tribulations now, so that when the real test comes, we already been training. It's just like with a fight, or brothers that train in any martial art, or any sport or whatever. You practice way more than you play, or you have more practice than you have games. You have more practice and training than you have fights. All right? And you simulating things that will happen in the game. You simulating things that will happen in the fight while you're training and while you're at practice, so that when you get to the game and it's really happening, you've already experienced what dealing with certain things is like. You already know what's going to happen, and you can just act and be good and have faith that you know what's going to happen. You know how to defend yourself or whatever the situation requires. Okay? So we gotta start understanding that, for those of us who don't, and even for those of us who do, speaking to myself first and foremost, we always have to keep that in our mind, that things are not going to always go our way. Okay, we are fighting for salvation. We're not in this truth for a guarantee of prosperity, like a lot of these churches and a lot of these so-called Israelite camps will tell you, man. All right, being in this truth is a hard process. Okay, it's a difficult process. It's something that requires us to go through a process of change, which is not easy, man, and not comfortable. But it's all to the good in the end, okay? With that being said, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwat who may be listening. Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. Until next time, Kwam Yasharala, Wild Bob Ball.